Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. I am back with a race at Trial Mountain in this week's daily race seat, and it's an absolutely incredible battle pretty much all the way through. I hope you enjoy this. If you do enjoy it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you think about it. And if you are interested in watching races like this, we do stream these races all the time, and this was actually streamed live on the channel as well. So yeah, if you don't want to miss out, get subscribed, hit that notification bell, and you won't miss out on any of the content. So starting from P5, we haven't set a particularly great lap on this time trial for this week's racing, and I am in the Citroen. A lot of people choose the Supra, and I think a lot of people missed out on something with the Citroen. The Citroen is actually a really nice car in the race. It's also got much better tyre wear than that Supra. But yeah, this race has been quite fun actually this week. It could have been a lot better with a bit of strategy in there, but the racing at this track, which isn't actually one of my favourite tracks, it's not a particularly strong track for me, has actually been good. And it's a little bit like St. Croix, I'd say, because that track as well, very wide, open corners in Group 4 leads to good racing because you can take multiple lines, you can go side by side, and it just opens itself up for some really good battles. And this week has not disappointed. I've got so much footage from this week, it's absolutely unreal. This race was absolutely brilliant, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Remember, smash that like if you do enjoy this race. See, we've managed to build up quite a big gap straight away from P6. You can see 3 seconds. There's obviously a bit of chaos going on behind us. Not sure what's gone on there, but us top 5 drivers have got away, and this leads us to a very interesting race. You can see P1 has managed to get a little bit away from P2 through there, increasing the gap to nearly a second probably, and we're just trying to hang on in the slipstream at this start. At the moment, everything's quite nice and calm, not much going on. We're all driving around single file, just waiting for some opportunities to happen. So one of the overtaking opportunities is obviously into the braking zone for the final chicane that they added in on Gran Turismo 7. They altered the way this track was, so now it's a bit more of an overtaking opportunity, and we're going to go for that Sen up the inside, slow it down to first gear, make the apex, and that's a nice move up into P4. And now we're right behind Ace in front of us. There's one of the drivers at the front there has hit the wall, and I think has he picked up a penalty? No, I don't think he picked up a penalty there, but he has actually hit the wall, and we're now following through this very tricky section. The Citroen feels a little bit worse than the Supra through this section, I would say. Overall, it doesn't quite feel like it wants to rotate as much, especially on this left hand part, and we go up onto the curb, and a massive drift moment there, but just about managed to save that with a little downshift to 5th gear. So you can see what I did there when it was starting to slide. I downshifted it to 5th, and that just caught it and managed to keep us going in the right direction. But we can see there P2 has also managed to pick up a penalty on that chicane, that fast flowing part of the track there. He's picked up a 1 second penalty there, so we need to stay as close as possible to Ace in front of us to see if we can get past the driver in P2 when he takes his penalty. So we're going to fast forward the action on this straight here now and up to the penalty zone. There's not much is going on this lap 2 compared to the later laps. It's a lot different, so we're going to fast forward this action now, and this is probably the start of where it's going to start getting a little bit more interesting, I would say, because when there's a penalty, P1's pulled away, and he's actually probably going to pull away too far for us to really come back at this stage. So you can see P2 taking the penalty. Ace there in P3 is going to go around the right hand side. Now we're going to go down left. We've got a massive more amount of speed over this driver in P3, so we're going to go down left, and he tries to block us off there. I think that was a bit late. We clearly had a pace advantage, but yeah, we're going to go down the left and up into P3 and just about make it. Even though our line was compromised there, we managed to take reasonable speed through that section and managed to hang on to the back of Ace there in P2. But you can see P1 3.6 actually increasing that lead now, 3.7. He's actually pulling away a little bit. We're going to obviously, once you start battling a little bit on this track, you do lose quite a lot of time, because obviously you're going to go side by side a lot of the time, and some, you know, different lines, braking early because you got cars in front of you. You just tend to lose more and more time. So P1 probably too far ahead of us to really worry about that driver now. He's 4 seconds ahead, but we're getting the slipstream off Ace, and you can see as we're going on this straight here, he's not going to defend it. He's not going to even try and go to the inside. He just lets us go through on the inside. So maybe he wanted to use our slipstream and let us see if we can catch up to P1. Now looking behind though, we get a bit of a dodgy move. He just pushes his way through there. That was probably the dirtiest move in this whole race. It was a little bit wrong. He just pushed his way through. Not the best drive in there from P2, but we gave him the benefit of the doubt. A lot of people would be tempted to just go right back and push their way back through P2 after that, but we did decide to just give him the benefit of the doubt. It did frustrate me quite a bit, but we're just going to wait it out and see if we can have an opportunity to overtake him fairly, because he might have just made a mistake on the brakes too late there. It's possible it was just missed his braking point, but if he did, he should have probably given that position back. But yeah, we're up to P3 still, and we've got another Italian driver right behind us there. So we're going to get this slipstream on this straight. Are we going to get close enough by the end of it? Probably not. The Citroen is very good in the slipstream, especially when following that Supra. For some reason, it's really, really good. You can see gaining quite a bit at the end of this straight, but we're not going to be close enough for this really fast flowing section. Again, this is a section which I don't really like in the Citroen, but I have started to slightly figure it out and drive it a little bit better than what I was doing. So starting to find a little bit of pace through there and into this left hand corner. We're just letting it coast through this corner and then back onto the throttle, and then you're into the braking zone where we use that rock on the left for our braking zone, down to second gear, back up to third gear before we come out of the exit. And you can see there over this first sector line, and we're on a little bit of a better lap now. You can see that P1 4.5 seconds ahead. He's gone pretty much. There's not much we can really do about that driver now. We've only got 6 laps to go. It's going to be very, very hard to catch that up. But you can see on the straight now, picking up the slipstream to P2. He's going to do a little bit of weaving. And when people start weaving like that, I think like 1 or 2, fair enough. But when you weave constantly, I just don't even follow them. I just stay in a straight line, because you find if they weave and you stay in a straight line, you actually gain on them anyway. So yeah, sometimes it is a little bit frustrating, I think, when people do the over weaving like that. When you're just constantly weaving 1 or 2 weaves down the straight, I think is fair enough. It's not really a problem. But when they constantly weave all the way down the straight, it can get a little bit irritating, especially for cars that are following, that are battling as well. But into the braking zone, you can see here, we're right up behind Flame now in P2. And we can't really look up the inside here. This is an overtaking opportunity for this corner, but you have to be extremely close to make that an overtaking opportunity. And again, the same thing for this corner. You have to be within a 10th and 10th and a half to be able to go for a little bit of a dive up the inside. And we're not quite there. So yeah, just sitting behind him at the moment, waiting for our opportunity to go for a move. And now try and get a good exit off this right-hand corner. This right-hand corner, very important to get the good exit there and push your way over the line for a good lap. You can see at the moment, now that we're not fighting so much, we've started to catch up to P1 by 3/10 now on that lap. We actually gained a little bit and got ourselves an okay lap. It wasn't particularly great at 58.5, and now we're skipping to the end of lap 5. You can see, having a little look up the inside, and you can see we gained another couple of attempts on P1 on this lap as well. So in clean air and driving without fighting, we are gaining, but it's not enough to really catch him up in the race. So you can see we're still 4 seconds behind, actually under 4 seconds now as we go over the line with just 5 laps to go now. And yeah, this is going to be close. We're going to get that slipstream. Are we going to be close enough into the braking zone? We have a little look up the inside, decide that's not really a move that I want to risk. And we're just going to follow as closely as possible through this section. You can see P1 makes a little bit of a mistake there, runs a little bit wide. We're going to go for the move up the inside, and can we make that work? Up the inside, and nicely done. Getting that move nice and cleanly in the Citroen. And now we're going to just go to the middle of the track, just make sure that he doesn't send one up the inside. You can see he's going to try and go round the outside. That is not going to work. He has a little bit of a drift moment there, manages to hang on to it, and now we're into these really fast flowing corners before the long straight. So now this is about trying to get as strong exit as we can off this left hand corner onto the main straight, and then straight away over to the left hand side of the track just to defend that inside line. No point weaving. We're just going to hold that left hand line and see if he's going to be able to go round us or what he's going to decide to do. You can see he's got that slipstream. He's on his way round the outside of us there now, and he's going to try and hang it round the outside. And this is actually an absolutely incredible move by the Supra here. He manages to brake late, he downshifts it and then gets on the throttle and uses the camber and manages to hold that inside line for this part of the track now. So incredible move there up the inside. And once I saw that move was possible, we learned from that move, because whenever we tried it, we've not really made it, but I could hear the downshift that he did. So we tried to take note of that move that he did there, because that was a really good overtake by Flame in P2. And you can see now, obviously, with this fighting, you can see that P4 is actually starting to get a little bit closer, because we're going to go for a move back up the inside, try and take that apex, give him the space on the right hand side. You can see he's still got that right hand side, so we're going to cut back a little bit here and try and get the exit and try and go back past him on the right hand side. So absolutely amazing battling going on at the moment, nice and clean as well. And I'm glad that we gave the benefit of the doubt for the move that happened earlier, because at the moment Flame is driving very, very clean, and it's really, really fun to race with people when you can go side by side like this. And again, into this fast flowing section, we go side by side, we hold the right hand side of the track, tiny bit of contact there, but we did give as much space as possible. And again, absolutely brilliant racing all the way through that section. Side by side through that section is very, very difficult to get through in one piece, and we've managed to do it there. But you can see now we've brought in the other Italian driver right behind us, and what you can also see is that P1 is well and truly gone off into the distance now, 5.6 seconds ahead. So that P1 is out of the question. This is all about fighting for P2 in this race now that we've been battling so aggressively. You can see there P2 going on a little bit of a weird line. That gives us the opportunity to go side by side through the left hand part of the corner, which you don't often do in that corner. That's normally a single file corner, but we managed to go side by side through there. Now it is a drag race all the way on this straight. Citroen versus Supra. Supra has better acceleration, but Citroen has slightly better once we get into the end of 6th gear. And you can see as we get in that 6th gear, we start to come back a little bit. We're going to brake as late as we can and try and rotate it into this corner. We hold the middle of the track. However, Flame goes back up the inside, and we're going to lose a position to the other Italian driver, Andre, there, as he goes up around the outside. And we're going to have to back out of that because we can't send it through there. It's too risky from where we were, and down to P4. But absolutely brilliant racing going on at the moment for this P2, 3 and 4 battle. You can see that we've got over 3 seconds to Damien still, so at the moment we don't have to worry too much about that P5 position. This is just all about trying to find our way into P2 and getting either a P2 or P3 now in this race. Brilliant stuff, exciting stuff, and this is why I still play Gran Turismo. For races like this, this is what happens. It's absolutely brilliant when things go well. As you can see now, picking up that slipstream to P3, Andre there, and we're going to have a little look. Can we go for a move on Andre into this corner? We're very, very close, but we decided just to stay on the outside. I think it's better that I stay on the outside there, lift a little bit early, and try and tuck up behind him as he works his way through this fast section. Again, you can see just how close we are. Citroen sliding around behind the Supra. Brilliant stuff going on here. And you can see Damien just a little bit further back. I think you might see him in a couple of the shots, just a little bit further back there. And we're now trying to find the way back past P3. So all the way over to the left-hand side of the track. You can just see Damien there in the distance trying to make his way through. As we have a little bit of a moment there, kicking up some grass. Took a little bit of the mud off the inside line where we're really trying to push the limits. Again, now we go onto that back straight. Can we get the slipstream here? Trying to get on that power in 4th gear. And again, this is where Citroen gains a little bit, because obviously that early acceleration, the Supra is slightly stronger. But now we've got the slipstream to counter that, and then we've got the advantage of the 6th and 7th gear being quite strong in the Citroen. So you can see gaining, even though he is in a slipstream as well. We're going to stay to the right hand side of the track and try and use the slipstream to Flame in front of us, and then try and brake as late as possible and see if we can go around the outside like Flame did to us. And you can see that little 2nd to 3rd gear shift has managed to hold that outside line, and now we've got the inside for this corner. You can see that that move can work, and yeah, once I've learned that move, we've done that move quite a few times now this week after learning it. So thank you to Flame there for letting me see how that move worked. And yeah, brilliant stuff. Round the outside, copied what he did earlier, and now back into P3. But what a race we are having here. This has been non-stop for the last few laps, overtaking, battling. And that is one of the reasons, like I say, Gran Turismo can be absolutely amazing. I do think not everyone's the biggest fan of Group 4s, but what I will say about Group 4 racing is it tends to give you some of the best quality racing on Gran Turismo. Probably better than a lot of other groups, because the racing's so close, and you can race closely together as well, like side by side, different lines. Again, we're going side by side with P2. We're on the outside here. It's going to be too risky probably to send it around the outside because he still has a little bit of the car further ahead. So we back out of that and then tuck back up behind him now with just 2 laps to go, trying to fight for this P2. Can we find a way back into that P2? This is going to be one hell of a battle now. So again, through this left-hand corner, trying to get close to him. Can we pick up that slipstream from the main straight and get him moved on? going into the last, that really long left-hand corner where we do that move on the outside. That is where we're looking at getting the move done. It's all about using the slipstream on the straight. So into this corner, a little bit of a hit on the wall there, just as we're going into the corners before the long straight. That's going to compromise us and lose us a little bit of time. You can see we lost about 2 tenths there, and now we're going onto the straight, and you can see he's going to do the weaving again, which I'm not a massive fan of, but to be fair to him, that time he only does 1 weave, which is about right. That's what 1 or 2 weaves I think is fair, where you go left, right, that's all good, and he's kept it in a straight line now, so no problem there. And now into the braking zone, braking as late as we can. We're not going to be able to go for a move this time though, because we weren't close enough after that little mistake, and we get a little bit of a hit from P3 behind us. Just a little tap in the rear that loses us a couple of tenths there. You can see on the exit we lose about 2 tenths, and now we're a little bit far behind coming into the final part of this race, just over a lap to go now. Yeah, we've dropped down to 6 tenths and nearly 7 tenths. I think he goes a little bit deep into this corner. You can see he goes up to 8 tenths ahead, but then we get the better exit, and we're going to bring that back down to ½ a second now. So into the braking zone, ½ a second behind. I need to try and get as close to him as possible for this final lap to go for a move. You can see trying to get a solid exit off this final corner, really important corner to get right. And now we got that 3rd gear pretty much spot on, up into 4th gear, and now we're on the ½ a second and pushing on to the rear of Flame in P2. Not going to be able to get close enough before these fast corners. This is all about just using the slip, get as close as we can, and then just try and take this as smooth as possible. So over the curb on the left, then over the curb on the right, let that car drift a little bit, and then try and carry the speed through the left-hand part. We just about keep it on the track without getting dirty tyres there. Left-hand tyre almost onto the grass, but just keep it in, and now we're only 3 tenths behind. So now we've got to try not to make the mistake that we made before, try not to hit the wall, and just try and stay as close as possible for that back straight. So you can see at the moment within 3 tenths of him, and now this right-hand corner, very important, got right up to the wall. Absolutely nailed that this time, and now we're within 2 tenths of him. Little lift off the throttle, then back onto the throttle, up into 4th gear. Good solid exit there. You can see we're actually gaining on him already. He goes for a couple of weaves on the straight, and again, that weaving has just helped me out by nearly a tenth because we didn't move. And sometimes it's best not to follow them in the slipstream when they do that, because you can see we gain massively. So over to the right, bit more slipstream. We were going to try a little fake on him, and now what we do here is we brake and then lift off the brakes, back up underneath him and try and come off the brake and just hold the inside. You can see just about make it to the middle of the track and try and get on the power, but it doesn't work. He manages to just squeeze ahead of us. Again, what a race this has been. We nearly made that move work. It's not over yet though. We are still right up behind Flame, and now we're going into a couple more braking opportunities where we can brake a little bit late and try and send one. So into this left hand corner, try and get a good exit off this corner. You can see into 3rd gear. Now what I do here is we're going to go for a little bit of a fake. We're 2 tenths behind, nearly 3 tenths behind. We're not going to send it here. So what we do is we go for a fake, brake on time. He brakes a little bit late and anticipating the send. Now we take the tight line, and now we're going to try and get a better exit. Now I could have stayed on the throttle there. I just wasn't sure where he was, and I gave a little hesitant lift, and unfortunately he manages to hold on to that P2. But yeah, what a race that was. If you enjoyed that, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more of that, get subscribed, because we get races like this very often in live streams as well. So yeah, we do get our fair share of bad races on Gran Turismo with drivers which take people out, but races like that happen, and that is why we all still play Gran Turismo 7. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with more of these in the future. Bye everyone.